Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle. My name is Iain Mackay. I'm hosting today. I'm joined for a little bit of a Mac and Joe Sunday mashup by Joanne. How are you, Joanne? Are you ready for
I'm good.
Are you ready for some mashing up?
I love a bit of mashup, especially Mac and Joe.
Could be a chin wag or the tittle tattle that I remembered from last week, which I quite like.
We'll just follow up. It'll be fine.
We're just going to have a bit of a chat to start the week on Monday morning with sort of an update. Because we were sure when we said, yeah, we'll work every day through the summer, that there was going to be loads of transfer news to talk about. And I don't know. It's gone very, very quiet on that front, I think.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week, didn't we? About realistically, we don't actually expect a lot of movement, especially on our side of things, until the end of June, beginning of July, do we really? So I think that that's really bedded in now to the point where the rumours are just rumours. The Pedro deal doesn't appear to even the press aren't trying to progress that now. They're saying we're in talks and they've left it at that. The Elanga thing has just been left as kind of hanging as well, hasn't it? So the odd name, like we covered Rashford last week as well.
Yeah.
Everything's just getting thrown in the mix, but there's nothing solid because I don't think, if I'm honest, anything is going to solidly happen until the end of June, beginning of July. So maybe in a week or so's time, we might have a lot more to chat about. Fingers crossed.
We might do. Chelsea, though, from their South American base at the moment, because they're all supposed to be playing football over there, not tracking every player that every other team gets linked to it and then going after them as well, because that was one of the updates from that João Pedro deal that we talked about last week, is that Chelsea are in for him now.
Of course they are.
Which would be a kind of a pain, because they can pay whatever they like. And they're in London, aren't they? Which apparently is a great big draw.
That appears to be.
I know a lot of people who live in London who can't wait to get away from it. So I'm not sure why it is. I guess if you're on 300,000 a week or whatever it is,
it's a bit different. They live a different life to us, Ian.
Yeah, they could probably
live a rich life.
We've been linked quite regularly with Consta at Liverpool. He was mooted last year, and also before the transfer window opened, as somebody who could perhaps be part of a deal which would allow Liverpool to come and get Anthony Gordon. But Quanta has left Liverpool to join Leverkusen.
Yep.
So he's not going to be available for that, which is good. But another one of our targets, and longest range target that we've had, I think, Mark Gahey, is now being linked going to Liverpool. Although he has said if he's not guaranteed he's going to be a first team choice, he's just going to see out his contract at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
It seems a bit lame, to be honest, and not very fair on Palace either.
A lot of players are doing it now, though, aren't they?
So, I mean, there is still transfer activity going on, or is it just that the YouTubers and social medias and press are talking about it?
This is true. Again, goes back to what we've just said, isn't it? The rumour mill will always be the rumour mill, but there seems to be nothing kind of solid. I did see something earlier, by the way, today. I did sit down for 5 minutes. I tend not to, but watched a bit of YouTube and saw about Kyle Walker. Sorry, my mind went blank a second. Kyle Walker going to Everton on a 1-year deal, apparently. So that's the most solid kind of transfer news I've heard today, I'll be honest.
Blimey, we're scraping the barrel.
We are desperate.
We are scraping the
desperate
barrel
for something to talk about.
Yeah. In the transfer debris, apparently I have been watching one or two, and the bids and the signing is at the very end of the process, of course. And I'm being assured by all sorts of journalists who are allegedly in the know that discussions are taking place. So we know that we talked to Delap, for example, and we know that we've been talking to Elanga. So these discussions probably are going in place, and I'm kind of hopeful that all of the best signatures that we've had since the takeover have come out of the blue, really. They've not been mooted in the press for a fortnight and then it finally takes place. You know, Isaac was suddenly there. Bruno was suddenly there. Botman was suddenly there.
Tonali.
So,
yeah.
Tonali, yes. I mean, they thought they were going after Barella, didn't they? And suddenly it was Tonali that was here. So, let's hope we're doing it even better than we have done, because we're getting better at doing that. And there are some world-class players about to suddenly be announced that they've joined Newcastle, and nobody's even talked about them because they didn't know that they were available. So, a truncated version, Joanne, of transfer news is transfer non-news, isn't it, really? But if we are going to try and have something every day, then we'll be here to flash it up as soon as it starts moving. And one thing I've been thinking about is Villa needs to sort PSR out, and Burnley need to sort PSR out before the end of June, which is just next week, to be honest. Then that might be when James Trafford is done. And I don't know why we'll be faffing around looking for Jacob Ramsey. I think we should go after Konza. I think he'd be a great centre half.
Oh, I agree.
Let's do that. Are you listening, Eddie? Let's do that. So maybe we've got a few days of quiet, and then we will start seeing us trying to move in for the kill and take advantage of some of the teams the way that we got bent over and had our bottoms back when we lost Minter and Anderson last year.
True. Let's
have a word from Ken. We've got two other very topical things to discuss, neither of which have got much to say about, but we'll make it funny anyway, Joanne. Here we go.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
We're back for part 2, which I'm going to ask you: Are you following the under-21 and the under-19 championships at the moment, Joanne?
The under-21 a bit, yes. Not the under-19. I won't lie. I don't know what is going on in that one at all. The under-21, I've always found quite interesting, if I'm honest, because in the past it's actually been more interesting sometimes than the senior in squad. And success-wise, they've got a lot more success as well. So
that is an England team that can win a tournament, isn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. So the kids are quite exciting. But what I find interesting is these kids become senior players, and then it doesn't kind of follow through onto the senior kind of level. But one day we can hope that football will come home, and that song that's been played to death for 40 odd years might actually be right. Or we can just have the world take the pee out of us forever, because let's get real, I think they love doing that.
Well, the reason I wanted to flag them up is that I am mightily encouraged by the continued wonderful performances of a couple of Newcastle players in the under-21 championship. Tino Livramento, part of the team that was won its quarterfinals, 3-1 last night against Spain, I think.
Played the whole game, didn't he?
And he played the whole game. And he kept popping up at the byline on the right-hand side. So he can do it on the right. He doesn't have to just fill in for Lewis Hall and do it all down the left. He can do it on the right as well. But yeah, he seems to be coming on in leaps and bounds. And I think if it's true that Guardiola wants him for Manchester City, I think that's an endorsement of how good this guy is becoming. Although I did see that had been constantly in touch with Eddie Howe and being encouraged just to play his game and not be distracted by anything from outside, which is what he said he's doing. Good old Tino. I don't think he wants to go to Man City.
I don't think he does, but it might be out of his control. Imagine if a huge big comes in from Man City. It's something that I know the players have got some say, the agents, everyone wants to step in with their bit, but if the right offer comes in, I don't want him to leave in any shape or form, by the way. I don't like these rumours about him being linked with Man City because I think it's a player that we really need to keep hold of. We're talking about building for the future. I don't want us to have to keep selling our, like, stars. He is one of our stars, isn't he? It's like Lewis Hall.
Absolutely.
I'd be devastated if we lost him as well, so...
Encouraging that even in the dark days of last summer, when we really were up against it, we didn't end up having to sell an Anthony Gordon or a Bruno Guimaraes in order to get out of trouble. So we resisted that right up until the very final moment when the sacrifice of Anderson and Minter saved us. So, and we're not in that position anymore, apparently.
Nope.
So we don't have to sell. And I would hope that would mean that we would hang on to all of them. As well as Livramento, Osula continues to sign for Denmark. I think they play tonight in their quarterfinal.
I know, I'm tempted to watch it, really, because he's been that brilliant, hasn't he?
Well, he's excellent. He's excellent. And I'm hoping that, do we need another striker? If Osula is that, he's just so different. But he could back up Isak. You think he used to bring Callum Wilson on for the last 20 minutes when we were already 2 or 3 ahead? Osula could do that. Standing on his head, he probably scored some goals as well.
Especially the energy he's got. He can run circles around a tired team if you think about it. And I read something the other day, he was talking about how to give him the minutes, he'll prove what he can do. So you can tell he's absolutely chomping at the bit to get going with us. And I know what Eddie's doing. I know he's not trying to rush him in. He did the same thing with Bruno. He's done it across the line multiple times. So I get what Eddie's doing. It's his style. But I don't think striker is an absolute desperate position we need to fill. I'd rather concentrate on other areas. How they feel about that, I don't know, or what type of player they bring in. As a backup striker is different, because if it's a backup striker that can also play across different positions, then fantastic. But solely a striker, I don't think it's an absolute emergency personally, because of the fact that we've got Osula, I'll be honest.
Well, I agree with you, and I'm hoping, as I say, that there are a number of signs that the young lads are going to take a more forward step in the team this year. And if they do we need all of these new signings? Because there were 3 new contracts as well for Sahar at right back. Maybe there's no replacement needed when Trippier retires. He's just stepped in and understudies Gino. For the washing machine man himself, Zanussi got a new contract, and Sean Lees, who's got a Carabao Cup winner's medal, although he's never spent a second on the pitch competitively for Newcastle. But this is all good. He's a striker. He's a striker that could be, covering if Osler has to come on and cover the right wing. And the last guy I was going to mention was the new signing that we've got, apparently pinched from under the noses of Barcelona and Real Madrid, Cordoba. He is signing for the Spain under-19 team. Scored in the last week. I'm not watching those games. I'm just following them in words, really. But I think it's all really encouraging. That was a very good piece of work, whoever spotted and convinced him to come. So under 21s, the kids are coming through, which is all very encouraging. Now, possibly of more importance, you'd think, if you read about it, it was the most important competition in football. The Club World Cup, Joanne.
Oh, it's been riveting.
It continues apace. And, it's weird, because it's not a waste of time. It's not irrelevant, because the winners apparently get £120 million. So if Man City win it, then maybe they can have Livramento, because that's just like a bonus that comes.
Please God, no then, right?
The teams were selected via some weird coefficient, which means somehow that City and Chelsea can be playing there, but Liverpool and Arsenal don't get a look in. Don't understand that myself. But I've watched little bits and pieces of it. The European teams have exhausted. And Chelsea got beaten 3-1 by Cordoba, was it? There have been some weird results that Real Madrid limped to a 1-1 draw against one of the Saudi teams in their first game. But it's not riveting, and it's also not riveting in America because they're playing in national international sized stadiums in front of National League sized crowds. What's the point of it all? Where is it going?
I think they built this thing up to be such a huge, huge event that everyone was going to be interested. America was going to get onto it. All the stadiums were going to be full. Like you say, America's got some huge, huge stadiums. So they're playing these games, expecting these huge crowds, and it makes it look even worse that hardly anyone's rocked up. The results are a joke. Some of the results are just nuts anyway. Bayern Munich are just over there having a laugh. I haven't watched a single second of it, by the way, because I'm totally not interested in it. The only information I know is what news I've been reading. So obviously I saw pictures of, I would like to say half-empty stadiums. They're not even half-empty because they're not even half full, obviously. It's turned into a massive mess up. So the fact that the winner's going to get 120 million when the revenue generated from it's got to be minuscule in comparison to what they were expecting is what I would say. Because if they've obviously went out thinking that all these fans are going to come in at America and America's so excited about it, America obviously couldn't give a damn about it the way that it's looking, I'll be honest. You've got some fans that may want to go along and see some teams that they'll never get to see in life, and that's purely what's happening there. But otherwise, I don't think they give a hoot, I'll be honest, and that's putting it nicely.
I think part of the problem is not blame the American footballing public. It's because they've got, I think there's 4 games a day, different parts of the country, and they're scheduled so that you can watch each one of them. There's no practice, which means that they're kicking off on a Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon, for example. And America's not a place where people take random holidays, where people can take a half day or
Very
just have
different,
that afternoon off to go to the footy and make it up in in loo time. You don't do that. And I think some of the times that they scheduled some of the matches, they were never going to have a chance of a big crowd. So, do you think it's going to get any more interesting once we get through the tortuous group stages and into some sort of knockout competition? I mean, PSG played Atletico, didn't they? That was one of the early games. That should have been.
Well, there has been some so-called big games, but
no.
Like you say, I think the timings of the games have got a lot to do with it. I appreciate that. And it'll be interesting to see, should in the knockout stages where the games will be at better times, let's say, whether the crowds will get bigger or whether they'll just get bigger because in the knockout stages, obviously, there will be more bigger teams playing bigger teams, if you know, again. But I'm not going to lie, I find it really hard to comment on will the quality be any better or will it actually be any more entertaining? Because, like I say, I haven't watched a single minute of it, so it's tough for me to say that, and I probably won't. I'll be honest, I am so just not interested in it. I'm not going to lie. My focus at the minute, right, is the season starting. And if I'm honest, the Cellar Cup weekend, I'm trying to just get through to that weekend, right? And then football's back for me. To me, football just isn't happening right now. I'll be honest.
That's the other part of it. You've got Newcastle back on the 7th of July, which is 2 weeks away. But I don't think this isn't even finished in 2 weeks. So what are Chelsea doing? Are they just working through? Are they just on Red Bull and speed to be able
just
to
never having a day off? Yeah,
they're not going to have any break at all, or they are going to have a break, but they're going to come back 2 or 3 weeks behind the rest of the Premier League. But that'd be all right because it'd be Man City and Chelsea who are hampered by that, and that's their own choice, isn't it?
True.
Yeah, I think I can understand why they want to have a competition like this, but I think the timing of it means that it's half-assed.
Yeah, I agree.
Fancy FIFA doing something that's half-assed. Well, there you go. I think coming up to 20 minutes, that's probably a good place for us to stop there, Joanne. We have
we'll stop rambling on it.
We've got no transfer news to talk about. We're still excited by our guys in the youth tournament, and the Club World Cup is very dull.
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have something a bit more exciting to talk about later in the week.
We'll try again tomorrow, eh?
Thank you very much, everyone who's managed to listen. I hope you managed to listen. At least it's only 20 minutes of not much to talk about rather than the whole lot. Thank you very much for joining me, Joanne. My name has been Iain Mackay. They're the Daily Newcastle. Please like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow the link in our program notes below to go and follow us on all of our social media. Oh, got that out there for a change. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.